Good day, good afternoon, Iglanite. My name is Mike Mercady. I am a member of the Athabasca Chipewyan First Nations. I presently reside in Fort Chipewyan, Fort Chip, Alberta, in the Treaty 8 territory. Territories. I was asked to speak on some traditional stories from the Wood Buffalo region, so the RMWB. Some stories that were passed on to me that I had I guess I have to say, the fortunate sharing of TEK, Traditional Environment Knowledge. In 2007, I was hired by the ACFN, IRC, Industry Relations Corporation, to do traditional environment knowledge studying with our ACFN elders and land users. During that time, for 3 years, we did interviews and I guess land visits, site identifications, and shared stories about people's uses in the area of, I guess, around the res and within the region. Anyways, in that time, they shared stories of what places were called, namesakes and stuff like that. Also, with the ACFN IRC, I also did a name change a few years back. Anyway, that's a different story. But to share one of the stories I was asked to share, it was the Firebag. Why Firebag was called Firebag. So Firebag was called Firebag because along the river there is flintstones, and flintstones are used for fires. I believe some of them you can use for arrowheads too. So they had some uses, and that was one of the only places that people knew to get those stones. So a lot of people traveled from distances to go there to collect stones from that. Anyways, and so when they had collected the stones, they would put them in these little pouches that they made. And the pouches were that held the stone and other things that we used to start fires. So when they would put them in this thing, they kept the pouch on the side of their, I guess the side of their clothes, side of their bodies, and they would call it a fire bag. So that's why the river got the name Firebag. One of the stories that I was told, I was being told this, was one of the gentleman a long time ago had gone there and collected his stones and had made a fire, put the fire out, and it was they left the camp and I guess they were traveling, and apparently his bag caught fire because of the friction from moving around so much in there. And eventually it just caught one of the things on fire, and it caught fire. Because it was tied onto him through hide, it was kind of hard to take off, and it was burning, and it might have got burnt. And I believe there was some stories of him dancing and fire dancing or all this stuff with the thing burning. You can only imagine what kind of things were said about him after that. And so the Firebag in the story, that was one of the things I was told about why it was called Firebag. Some of the other stories with the region I wanted to share, I guess, would be the Dene have a territory that's vast in northern Canada. It stretches to 3 provinces, actually I believe 4, and 2 territories. The way it was explained to me was where there's people who speak Dene or similar to the language, that's where you would find the Dene people. Excuse me. The other story is the caribou. The Dene followed the caribou along with the wolf and migrated with them, and which is why they were known as nomadic people, because they followed the sustenance. So wherever there was caribou marked out, or wherever you see caribou throughout Canada, this is the Dene territories. So, and also with, I guess, the Dene and their stories, part of who they are when they're speaking is we're talking about our name and our locations. And people are asking what's what's the Dene's territory? Well, like I said, it's where we speak the language and where the Caribou are at. One of the most important things, though, with all of that is that who we are when we say Dene Sotlene is that we are people of the land. And the words means that we are people of the land and that the land is part of us and the land is who we are. So anywhere there's land and I guess the wilderness and any kind of connection with the caribou and the wolves out there, that's who we are. The Dene people. Dene people are land people, bush people. That's the stories that every story I was told. That's what it related to. Whether we're trapping, hunting, traveling, or just going for walks. The Dene in the land is probably one of the reasons why we were always told that's who we are. A long time ago, I didn't understand those kind of things, what it means to be part of the land, because I viewed it as inanimate objects and a thing that was like living. Now with learning about biology and several things that there's living organisms and everything out there and everything that's on the land has an element that is within me. So we share periodic tables and a chemical element that's on the land, and every part of out there is also inside of me. So when I hear that the Dene are, that we say our name as part of the land, and understanding that Western science proved it to me that we are of the land and the land is part of us, Dene Sotlene had a very more true meaning after I learned more about it. And the language itself, the words and the meaning are always, it doesn't disconnect us from that. We are told that we are part of the living cycle. We are part of the planet, and that's Dene Sotlene, our people of the land. That's the descriptions of it, and that's how it was told to me. That's who we are. Is the land, I guess. And yeah, those are some of my stories for the Wood Buffalo region and ACFN and the Dene Sotlene and Marcicho.